It gives me great pleasure to bring on board Mr. Anand Goenka of CF, Managing Director and CEO. Mr. Goenka, good morning. Thank you for joining us. What's your understanding of how things are shaping up for the economy? There is one end of the market where unemployment is very high, the data is not encouraging, and then you got the high frequency data, which is electricity, cement, steel and car data, which is pointing to a great recovery. What is your view of the economy first?
Yeah, no, I agree with what you're sharing. I think there are clearly some industries that have got much worse impacted, whether it is you look at airlines, hospitality, discretionary consumption areas. Those areas are clearly seeing a slowdown. And I think until confidence in consumers doesn't return, these will continue to see some pain. However, we are beginning to see a fair amount of change that has been happening over the last month or so, even in consumer movement. You go out on the streets, you see a lot more people that were there. People are beginning to realize that they have to move on with life. So to that extent, things are a little bit better on that front. And also, if you look at city versus rural, I'd say that rural economy is a completely different world from what we see. Very often in cities, we are locked up in our homes or not going to work, but rural economy is booming. You look at tractor sales, you look at two-wheeler demand. Some of these areas are great indications of monsoon being strong, economy being, that part of the economy being relatively okay. So we are seeing two very different worlds, as you shared as well.
Wherever we've seen consumer demand and uptick both in consumer appetite as well as production, do you think this is genuine and here to stay, or this is just a pre-COVID rush, post-COVID rush?
So there are a few things. I'd say one is rural demand, in my view, is here to stay. So we've had a great monsoon, great crop output that has come in, and that has been very good. And that is genuinely at a roots level been very strong. So I think that's one positive. The other bigger trend that has seen a change, particularly in the auto sector, is the need for personal mobility, which will be there for the next year and a half until a vaccine has come in and until fears go away. People are moving away from public transportation, and we are seeing that kind of demand on two-wheeler sales as well. There's also been some amount of channel refilling that has happened, particularly in the months of June, July, August. So whatever we did not see pick up in April and May, things have begun to pick up. And then you have the shorter term aspects of festive demand, etc., also coming in, which is causing some uptick. On the other hand, there is some amount of uncertainty as well. You're seeing a lot of job concerns that are there. How long what is the longer term impact that will happen? And to me, I'd say that we can predict largely until, say, maybe November, December, things being positive. But what will happen after Jan, Feb, I'd say still very difficult to say, and we have to just play it by the year.
Now, you have a strong hold in some of the pockets that are clearly showing signs of revival. I mean, if we take a look at two-wheelers, PVs, LCVs, what are you gathering from the signals that you're seeing so far in terms of incremental growth, in terms of stepping back gradually towards the recovery?
Yeah, so I think demand for tires has clearly picked up faster than we expected. We operate in 3 markets: the replacement, we sell to the auto players, and we export. The replacement has picked up very well. I think that's largely led the way. OEM has recently started seeing some pickup from August and September and reached pre-COVID levels. And the export segment has also seen gradual growth. And amongst the categories, we've seen the two-wheeler and tractor industry seeing the strongest demand, followed by the passenger car segment. And I'd say the commercial vehicle OEM segment is one which still has to see some uptick. We are still seeing slow demand there. Maybe the scrappage policy is something that a lot of us are waiting for. Maybe that will spur demand. And as I said, that rural is one area which has seen very, very strong demand for us. But that's how largely I would break up our demand situation at this point of time.
Okay. For you then, does this also present an opportunity, at a time like this, perhaps to really look at possibly expanding your presence, your market share, given that you also have that unique advantage?
Absolutely. I think we are very well positioned. We've just set up a fair amount of capacity at this point of time, and we are quite well utilized at this point. So we have a new facility in Nagpur for two-wheeler tires that we set up. That's ramping up. We have set up a passenger car facility in Chennai and a truck radial facility in Halol. Nearly 3,000 crore of investment during this period of time. And we as of now, we are quite well utilized, and if this continues, I think we will be in a very good position competitively. We do believe that we would have gained good market share because our factory ramped up very well, and the last 6 months has been a lot about managing supplies. So if the factories ramp up and they're able to supply, then you're able to gain market share, and we feel we have done that over the last few months' time. Also, businesses have undergone a fair amount of change. When there's so much change happening, this is a great opportunity. So how do we move more towards an online model, or moving towards making sure our retail outlets are clean and sanitized and you have a touchless experience? Thinking about supply chain resilience as well. How do we de-risk ourselves from China and single source vendors? Governments move on Atmanirbharta in a way. With that coming in, how do we make sure that we are buying more and more locally? So the kind of change that we've seen in the last 6 months, I'd say we've not seen this kind of change maybe ever in the history, or at least the last 10 years, clearly.
Wow. Fantastic. So, you given the kind of opportunity you're seeing here, what should one assume when it comes to the kind of where we're at in that recovery cycle overall? We've been hearing so many mixed things, Ananthan. I'm getting a clear idea from you really on how you're planning to grow. But do you feel that, the ecosystem currently is also conducive to that in terms of where we're at in the cycle?
I think it's very difficult to predict. I think we can clearly predict about 2 to 3 months hence. So up to November, I'd say things are looking positive, November, December. After January, things are very difficult to say where we expect to be. But I think this is the time where we need to stand together. This is the time where companies' humaneness comes in on how we interact with customers, how we interact with employees, move beyond just shareholder focus to other stakeholder focus, moving towards digital systems. So I think we are very well positioned. We've been taking a lot of these actions to be ready. We've been looking at cutting costs internally, looking at about 100 crore kind of a cost reduction within the company. So with all of this, I think we will come out much stronger than we were. I'd say with respect to the economy or demand the year and take it as it goes, if you have to cut costs, preserve cash at that time, you do that. But fortunately, things have bounced back well. And I'd say I continue to remain a little bit cautiously optimistic on the time forward as well.
Which is great to hear. And yes, you have been very innovative at a time like this on a variety of different fronts, including R&D, for example. We've been hearing so much about the Atmanirbhar push, and I know we just touched upon it as well. But in terms of the kind of scale and capability you feel we have to really become self-reliant when it comes to the manufacturing space, give us your opinion on this. What do you feel the challenges are that still remain, or how much more investment you really see coming in on this front, not just from a company perspective, but also as someone who's a leader in the space and has an industry view on this?
Right. So I think on a manufacturing front, India is at a very strong position, particularly if you look at the auto space. So you look at the car manufacturers, the autocom players, in terms of the quality systems they have, in terms of flexibility, in terms of their production systems. I'd say we are no less than Japan in terms of our capability to manufacture. Within the tire space, if you were to look, I'd say we make all the kinds of tires, from animal-drawn vehicles to the Mercedes kind of vehicles of the world. And we make all the entire volume of whatever is needed in India. We have sufficient capacities. So the tire industry is very well positioned in terms of taking care of India's needs that are there. While, of course, there are a lot of these positives, the areas that we can do better is continuously invest in infrastructure. I'd say that is woefully short, and the government is working towards that. The other big area is on labor reform. I think there are still archaic labor systems that are there. There have been some changes with respect to hiring of people, firing of people, and etc. And there is a gradual shift that is happening, but I still do believe that we need to make a shift out there. And finally, on land acquisition, I think we still continue to face some challenges. Land prices have gone up quite substantially. So here, whether it is smart cities or zoning or economic zones that are made, I think that will also help in terms of helping the country.
Okay, great. Let's talk about export opportunities as well and the kind of momentum you see there. What are things looking like? Is there more scope on that front? Which markets are looking healthy given the current scenario that we're in?
So exports has seen a kind of a linear growth during this post-COVID period. So every month kind of going up by about 10% kind of growth. Even this space has been relatively uncertain. We are seeing a second wave of closure in Europe as we speak. I think exports is the one big area which the government can also focus on to differentiate ourselves. With the US-China trade wars going on, I think this is an excellent opportunity for the government and India to take advantage of this. A lot of Chinese companies are setting up capacities in Thailand, in Vietnam, etc. So I think if we take advantage of this at this point of time, we can be very uniquely positioned. To give you an example, even somebody like Apple had said a few years ago that they would not invest in India, or they would invest only for low-level iPhones. If you look at it today, they have moved to the iPhone 10 and 11 and so on, which they are making in India. And if you look at the number of billion-dollar suppliers that exist even for Apple are more than possibly 50. So the amount of potential of manufacturing that will come in with just Apple coming in is quite high. So this is just one example of the kind of potential of moving capacities into India that can be there. So I think we just need to work swiftly. We need to interact with a lot of countries around the world who would be looking at de-risking from China and set these 2 or 3 key structural reforms in place. And I think we'll be in a better position with that. We continue to have labor arbitrage as well. I think we are far lower priced in terms of salary levels than even China.
And I was just going to talk about that, given the shift that we're seeing, or at least hearing of, that companies will be looking for opportunities outside of China. Do you see more sort of opportunities coming this way, coming to India? And are you getting those feelers from your clients already? How much scope do you think there is there realistically?
Yes, so clearly for us, from a sourcing base, we are planning to make sure that we are not fully dependent or the key sources of raw material that we were buying from China. We are looking at now having at least an Indian option. And just the way we as customers would be looking at moving, we have a number of our customers, a number of people, similar industry level people would be looking at least having an option of having an alternate option to China in that sense. So I think with that, I think it does clearly affect a large opportunity for us.